Yo guys, Low Coach AB here. So here is why the best jungle Talon is different from the other ones. Let's react to Dobby's video. Really good videos, by the way. Make sure to like the video. That was an interesting combo. That's like the old school combo that people don't do these days at all. He ults off vision so Corki does not see him, and then he commits with his Q. Note, don't always do this combo because you need to be very fed. Or someone needs to be very low on HP, because otherwise you could miss out on damage. So that's the important thing to watch out for. Like, if you're not insanely fed, there he didn't get his empowered part of his Q, didn't hit the first part of his R, so only if you're very, very fed. But I think that's a combo very underutilized. So let's take a closer look. So it doesn't really go fleet work foot. I swear, every Talon player goes fleet work foot, but then you don't have enough damage to get those early kills to snowball. Does go Cosmic Insight for more sums and activatables, magical footwear for free boots because he wants to rush your moves. He doesn't really want to get early boots and early game HP instead of scaling HP, okay. Items and abilities provide enough mobility, so 50 boots are purchased second, third, yep. On that side, the Talon starts here to check for the enemy wards, okay. Top matchup is Jax versus Mundo, so both junglers are likely starting top side. After confirming the enemy jungler's ward, he invades. He does pull a invade, okay. Level 1 invades in Challenger, that's crazy. That's a bit crazy, no? You know what, I like it. Q smite. Well, that's crazy. In such a high rank he does this. It's a bit unexpected, right? Because you would think that Talon starts on reps, but that's kind of unexpected, honestly. The enemy Aurora simply warded to check. Oh, so that's what he juked, because they perma ward the reps. This Talon was like, I'm tired of people perma warding my raptors, so I'm just gonna invade then, fuck it. That's funny. So they think that he maybe starts red, huh? Huh? Wow, it's very sudden. It's very, very sudden. He also loses HP from the blue. This time the enemy jungler is an CN pro, so he's like a pro player. Usually wards a place toward the right for a clear view. But he plays around it by hugging the wall. Wait, but the wolf is revealed, so if they paid attention to the wall, does that mean that they saw Talon? Actually, I don't think so. Probably not, right? But he really smartly played around the vision. So the trick is to avoid this type of cheese is to like ward a little bit more inner. We saw the ward here, like this ward has to be a bit closer at Inhibit so we can spot the wall area. Because this exactly does not reach this small area where Talon can sneak in. So you either have to choose to give up vision on this side or this, but it's a bit better if you ward a bit more like this. So you can see a potential invade, but I'm telling you, no Talon player does actually invade you, so you can see both reps and his invade potentially, so that's how you could cover both sides, to be honest, in my opinion. So it may be a bit better if he warded a bit more towards the river. But yeah, that's insane actually, it's kinda unexpected, because he knows how wards are working, how much vision they provide. So he does know when to like come, and Perma does this blast conning into the bush can be seen. Yeah, it's very smart, that's very, very smart, very unexpected, right? Some junglers smites at the beginning, or really smart flash to predict his flash. One more Q. He got this. Does he really? I think he does because he doesn't have fuel to. When on blue side, the Talon starts by invading on warding the reps. But Tafir is guarding, so he simply runs away. Then he bats Raptors, Red Krugs, Raptors, Red Krugs. So sometimes he does not invade, and when games are a bit more chill, he does go for a 3 camp. Maybe it's the last one, kills it. Then he's looking for a level 3 into Poppy, but it's a bit scary because she could make her W. There is a ward where... Now he made her E, okay. He probably knew, it's just the camera wasn't really moved, so... We don't have exacts over there, but usually she would make her E into a Blitzcrank Ashe matchup because they don't have dashes, but... Depends, probably knew that Poppy most likely made her E. Even then he's sporting a crazy 70% success rate. He definitely like moves his camera quite often, and he's actually fishing for opportunities. Meantime, the cam is here. That's what the Talon player also looks at even before their level 2 pings are coming down for the blue team. Yeah, Kais and Poppy can give up prio due to Talon that may or may not be there. Yep. Okay, really interesting because he really plays very aggressively, right? Yeah, it's not only that his clear speed is fast, it's just with his E, he goes from A to B very quickly, that's the thing. That's why that kind of like adds to the speed as well. It's guaranteed as to dodge this gank enemies must tower hug, yep. So if there is no play, he just prefers to B, maybe get a... I think he brought no potion, so I do suppose he buys a longsword, yeah, so no potion start. So 3 camps, no potion start, electrocute, no fleet. Everyone goes fleet, I swear, but it's not that good, guys. Like, you're not gonna deal damage. I don't have the snowballing runes in a way. I think he will commit once he will stun Cannon. Will says premium bait because Cannon was really low. Smart W flash, and it does pick him up with one more basic. So like that's the thing, like you have to use your ally champions in your team as a bait. So for example, in here Cannon doesn't have like his cooldowns, and the guy gets to engage on Cannon. But the good thing is that it's premium to use him as a bait. So it's very important for you if you're in lower ranks to not like if you jump over the wall now, that's very bad. You gotta wait until Riven gives up her dashes, so she cannot dash out. So you gotta wait until she commits, until she's in a vulnerable enough spot. Really smart W flash, smart positioning to connect the second part of his W into his passive. I mean, ganking is prioritizing above clearing. Yes, he does love ganking, so watch out on this type of gems like Rek'Sai, a bit Talon, right? They really love to gank because like they have really good openings, decent damage, really good openings with their E. So they are very scary in the early levels. I would highly recommend you to, if you can, respect it as much as a Nunu, honestly, if you can. This is still level 4 vibe, but you're gonna tank the... Oh, almost. I thought that will hit box, but it didn't really. It does keep chasing because Y doesn't have Q. Does swing in, keep swinging. Flash on Pike's part. That's well played on his part. Connects a Q. Uses his E, not really. Q connects, W flashes. I think he has no barrier, the Jin. I thought that's why he doesn't commit. Talon can easily punish Y. Okay, let's see how does he punish Y. Because usually Y counters Talon, right? It's not reverse. But the reverse does not apply. Okay. Got the assist as well. Gets the camp with the W. He will spend sometimes a very long time before getting a kill. Okay, it's a bit crazy, huh? So why does the get the camps though meantime? But he does love to farm kills over... this guy farms kills over basically champions. So really smart W usage. So you know what you need to do? So first of all, you can W and then flash. This combo you need to maybe practice to watch. He Ws. You can see the animation, then he flashes. So it extends the reach of W, and you can use your Q as a... you can use its empowered, perhaps version if you're close enough with the flash. So it does have its purpose to flash in some cases, to have a better, W angle, to connect it 100%, plus an empowered Q, which is super nice to have. So note that you can use flash that way aggressively. Very important combo to practice tool. But doesn't overextend, the ally soup isn't there. Yeah, so it does respect the allies, because allies support players are perma-roaming. They're well known for rotating for grubs and things like that, because Alice has some insane mobility in her spider form. Somewhere the game damage, CC, all that, but what he loves to do, he cross-maps a kill on the enemy ADC, because if Alice is topside, gatekeeping him from grubs, they have definitely more fighting power around grubs. Then what he does is he actually goes bot lane, because the enemy Jhin is vulnerable due to Alice roaming, and then he punishes that, so he doesn't contest what he can't, he will just commit for the fight that he can win. So that's how you got to think as an assassin, it's basically in the Art of War from Shansu, you gotta really know how to manage your time, your resources properly, to maximize out the value of your pick, because compared to a Mundo or like some other champions, obviously. Like, you do have the capabilities to get through walls, find picks as an assassin. It's like Assassin's Creed in a way. So you can do things in a more cunning way, I would say. Dipping to signal to invade. So what do we do here? Talon keeps an eye out and runs over. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Does commit with a QW already. Alice's spider form does actually allow her to survive for a little longer, but then gets picked up. So if there was no recall choice for why. I think that's a bit risky, no? Doesn't Y have or? No, because Talon has some item advantages, but Jesus Christ, I think Y had no. Y was fairly behind, huh? No. So Talon had some item advantages plus R plus Spike on the corner, right? But it's very smart from him to actually get magical footwear, because that way he can actually like he doesn't have to buy boots directly, and then he can like focus on Yomu's damage, right? And basically mobility from the item itself. It's like packed. It's a really nice item that provides both damage and mobility, which both of them are needed. Primarily like mobility in a way, because like it really helps a lot to go from A to B to catch kills with Yomu's helps, with your combos in general to connect them more smoothly. I mean, Yomu's is just everything on a roaming mid lane. If you play him on mid lane, it doesn't matter if you play him in the jungle. Yomu's just became such a core item. That's crazy. The map is so gigantic, but I think just to see like things, I feel like it could be a bit smaller. I don't know why is it so gigantic, but the map is this whole playground. The top Talon judge kills angles based on their distance from the enemies. But like, it's so crazy that you get a mid kill, you have Yomu's, you have Relentless Hunter, boom, you're already bot side, you dash through us. That's what like makes Talon very very dangerous in the hands of good players. Because even in here I would say Y counters to some extent Talon, but Y couldn't get a potent enough lead, or I mean it's mainly about like Talon snowballing way too hard to the point where Y couldn't really do a lot about it. What would happen if the enemy didn't counter jungle? The opponent is from T1 Academy. Okay, supposed to be good player. But does he fish for a play here? I think he does maybe commit now. Really smart flashes, by the way, like really does pick up 2 kills, for one helps a little bit with shoving, and so mainly he will recall. And they pick up the blue and the Gromp. Will commit with a W. He will try to steal the tally, but there is no chance for that. They didn't see any ganks, so they continue leading in camps for grabs. But Talon suddenly takes drag with the Serrated Dark. Yeah, like with Serrated Dark, you kinda deal a nice amount of damage to Drakes, cause like Drakes have a very low armor early on. So panning that even by 10, that does help a lot actually. Securing early Drakes is kinda important, cause even if your team would fall off, they don't get soul as quickly. So it's kind of weird, but if you get like an early Drake, it like denies them soul. Basically, like if they get like if they would have 4 Drakes, they would only have 3, you know. So that way it just helps to like slow down their scaling process in some games where they are a bit stronger. So these solo Drakes have their value. Although like armor wise, it doesn't provide super a lot, but it's still gonna help now and then, you know, now and then. Jumps back. Nah, but Talia just hinted, right? He didn't expect the Talon E back up, pretends to run away and baits Talia in. Jumps the wall and one-shots her because she has no abilities. Yeah, I mean, but I think it's just like Talia kind of hinted there because Talon was very ahead, 1-4. But there was some mind game there, but I think Talia just kind of hinted, to be honest. Like instantly Ors commits with a basic Q, W. And so like he can actually does quite often go Serpent's Fang, don't underrate it, because it's funny because the item does 0 damage, but often it's very important just to cut shields in certain games. I throw in here, I don't know what kind of shields do they have, because they have a Talia Seraphs, Maybe he has a grudge against Tally, but it doesn't look like they have a lot. But I guess it helps into her gigantic Seraph shield, right? That's, oh, that was funny. But I think there are games where it's more or less viable. Because the funny thing is, it kind of breaks shields, and breaking shield will do the most amount of damage, just because like there aren't like many like high damage lethality items these days. So compared to the past, so basically it does go for shield because that's how he can actually maximize out his damage by breaking actually the shield, not by buying another profane voltaic whatever, you know, certain games. It also helps a lot into set, you know, champs like that, Styrax Gauge, you know, stuff like that, because then you can also kind of like say that I have the utility to sort of break some gigantic shields in some cases. Then Talon's passive is also kind of insane at like perm proccing the, say, serpents, right? Now that's it for now, guys. Like his video, definitely subscribe to his YouTube channel if you like this content. I was just reacting to it. Nice video. I definitely GG, well played. See y'all in the next one.